Shalom, family. Thank you so much for joining us here at Remnant House, the home of the strong and the very courageous. And I hope you know we had to be really strong and courageous tonight to get through these technical difficulties. These enemies, they're trying to slow us down. They're trying to stop us. They don't want us to tell you the truth. I want to tell you right now, they're going to lose that fight because not only are we hitting, not only am I coming, but how many know Elohim sent me help tonight? Because I got my brother Jeriel Tomas going to be joining me tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Oh, it's a
Really
pleasure.
appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
Well, I tell you what, the topic tonight is important. It is probably the most important broadcast we've ever done, you and I. We've done a few that have been outstanding discussions, great conversations. But tonight we got to deal with something that it is body wide. So, folks, I want you to right now get your friends, get your neighbors, get your brothers, get your sisters, get your mama, get your daddy, get your cousin, get your grandpappy, even your enemies. Go grab them and give them this link. Okay, get them on this broadcast, whether you're on Rumble, Facebook, or YouTube. Grab them and tell them, come on, let's sit down and listen here because there's some enemies we got to deal with. Amen. There are people out there that do not want you to have the breakthrough.
That's
and
right.
Messiah warned us. He warned us, didn't he, Gerald? He warned us about these days, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Very clearly. He sure did.
He told us that these wicked days were coming. What did he warn us about? Didn't he warn us about that Babylonian magic?
Oh, absolutely. And well, he called it, the mammon. You can't serve, Yahuwah and mammon. Well, mammon is that money god or Elohim, mighty one, and that's what we put our trust in, and it's based on debt. They create debt right when you get born. You're born in debt, enslaved in this Babylonian money magic system that we're all enslaved to.
Which, as soon as you take any close looks at, you wake up from. However, it works by the principles of witchcraft.
Yes.
Witchcraft, which people do not take seriously. Y'all think witchcraft is Harry Potter. All right, which, is a low level, a certain form of witchcraft. This is mass levels of witchcraft.
Yes.
This is meant to enslave entire people groups, all right, entire populations, entire nations, where they are under the sway of the wicked one. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the whole world, has been swayed, and under this curse, and one of the things, tools that Satan uses is media. Media is a name of a goddess that produces, you know, delusion, and spells, and lead us the wrong way, and that's what we're listening. The mainstream media, a goddess, that's telling us lies, and we believe everything that media says, and so we, support, these things that we've been led to believe, and what is started, with Cain. He's the one that created. He's the granddaddy of this thing, and we got a good article that will help you with that, and so it's been carried on through generations and generations, and even the Rothschilds that runs, a lot of the you know mega banks of nations, uh, and we're under it with the Federal Reserve banking system is part of that Babylonian system, and so and they work for the British Crown and the Vatican, and so and it's all under a corporation. You see, there's a three city states. You got the U.S. That's the military. You got the British. They take care of the commerce, and then you have the Holy See, the Vatican, that takes care of the religious. And
there's your three frogs.
And yeah, there's your three spirits like frogs. No, well, anyways, so And so a corporation has got to have money. That's why you're born with a straw man's name, and you become a straw man when you go to a docking station, a hospital, you see, and they put your name in all in capital letters, and you become part.
Listen to my brother.
So you're just a cash cow, part of this corporation. The lifeblood of the corporation is money. You take
And
the
how does
money.
that money work? Well, seeing as they didn't want to be obedient, okay, seeing as they didn't want to obey Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Sebaot, right? They had to come up with a different system. And let me tell you, saints, it's what Cain did. Cain's first sin. Remember, don't you remember? He killed his brother while
Yeah.
his brother gave the right offering.
Yeah.
Okay, his brother came correct, and he hated his brother for it. Hated his brother for it. Okay, because their God is Mammon. All right, their God is Mammon, and that God is that's who they mean when they say God, God or Gad, same being. It is the Babylonian deity of fortune. What did Messiah specifically say? He said, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold the one and despise the other. Okay, you cannot. This is something Messiah said. Don't try and act like you can do anything. No, you can't do this. Messiah said it. You cannot serve Elohim and Mammon. You got to pick one. Cain did not understand that. For the love of Mammon is the root of all evil, including killing his brother.
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't honor Yahuwah, the devil will be right at your door. Thank you very much. And that is courtesy of Remnant House, who says the quiet part out loud since 1995. We ain't playing, saints. We done with the gloves is coming off. Okay. And I want to tell you another thing. All right. Because I love my brethren. And if y'all sitting around thinking that tonight is the beginning of the feast of Yom Kippur, okay, if you believe that and somebody told you that, I'm going to tell you point blank, the pedophile liars ain't nothing but liars. Okay, they're wolves and they're liars. All right. And look here, it's on Google. That ought to tell you everything you need to know right there. You shouldn't need nobody else to tell you to double check that, because the fact that Google doesn't even put up an article, Google's staff, their staff is telling you what day. Are you joking me right now? You want to know why? I bet y'all want to know why. I'm going to tell you why. Because their magic won't work unless you're in defilement. You see, you need to be contaminated for their magic to work. You need to be in sin for their magic to work. They need to keep you unclean. They need you to consecrate the wrong days so their magic works. Because when you come into right time and right correct, and you begin to walk in the correct, and you begin to walk in the truth, and you begin to walk in righteousness, the Zedakah of the Nazarim, all right? The same thing John the Baptist would have been yelling, ripping his clothes right now. I'm right with him. All right. If you believe these guys, their witchcraft will work on you, which is why there was a war in Yasharel, which is why they killed the Zadok priests, which is why they sacrificed a pig on the altar in the holy city, in the holy temple. They did all these things so their magic would work, because their magic was not working on people who hold fast to the word of the living Elohim.
Amen.
And it doesn't work on them. Doesn't work on them. They cut off the head of the snake. When they get resources, they start giving and being a blessing. How come? That breaks the system. It breaks the spiritual warfare breaks. They don't know what to do with that. Okay. And it goes all the way back to Cain, saints, just like my brother just said. Listen to my brother. He just told you he has a whole website called the Truther's Journal that will blow open the doors. And the more you listen and just read and stop arguing and just take a minute to put the argument down and say, wait a second, I know Google ain't on my side. Okay, I ain't even trying to be deceived. You trying to tell me Google's trying to tell me the high holy day? Please, somebody help me.
And they're in the pocket of the Kabbalist, and that's what's been running the world. It has been your Canaanites, your Edomites, you know, and they're the ones that's controlling the history, and oh yeah, throw that up there real good, and 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 these here evil people that does wicked things in the dark, honey. Not only is the Catholic Church guilty of pedophilia with their leadership and things like that, you know, messing with young boys and young girls. Uh, Also, Kabbalah Judaism does it as well, honey.
Go
They
ahead
try,
and nail that. Go
they,
ahead and nail that.
honey,
If everyone,
and
if you are living in the land of Yasharel right now and you think tonight begins the day of Yom Kippur, you might have followed the Pharisees. You might
yeah,
as well be following Antiochus Epiphanes.
these
You are
old
just all the blood of all of them that have been killed, holding fast to the word of Yahuwah Elohim, now comes upon this generation. Go ahead, brother.
they do not only do they these old decrepit men will marry underage children and think it's fine. Now that goes on in Judaism. That's dark side of Kabbalah. Not and also it goes on in Islam. All your three major religions, honey, they're doing the same thing, taking
All
advantage
of them.
of.
Aren't you guys noticing this constant fruit of sexual perversion?
They want to attack the
Sexual perversion?
mess up their minds early. What do you think that television is for? You know, is to pollute their minds, you know, and
Mm.
pervert them, you know, to lead them, you know, into all kinds of evil. I can't even begin to, you know,
Oh, this it gets us hot. Let me tell you, we are burning up with the zeal of Yahuwah right now, because let me tell you, the reason why we're doing this broadcast is not somebody might think of one person or another, one minister or sinister or another, but let me tell you, this is an epidemic. Okay,
that's what
and
in church today.
that's right.
Churches
These guys love to sit up and become the teachers. They want to make you their students. Okay, they want you to be like them. They were abused many times. You're going to find that these abusers, when you go into their history, maybe they had to witness a suicide, maybe they had to witness abuse, maybe they were locked in some closet somewhere, maybe they were raped as a child. I don't care. It doesn't matter at this point. If you go out and your way of dealing with your trauma, okay, this is not a healthy way to deal with your trauma. And if this is the way you deal with your trauma, you're the one that needs help. Okay. And wills are always after the children, always the
yeah,
spiritual children. That's why they want to be your pastor. That's why they want to be your religious leader. They're not after us. We're just in the way, saints. That's why they come after us, because we're in the way. We're
yeah,
standing in the way, and we're not going to take it, and we're not going to sit back and let them abuse the children and lie to them. So we double check. We have the time. My brother and I, we take the time to double check things.
yeah,
Okay. And we look it over real thoroughly. And if there's a lie in it, we're going to find it. All
yes,
right. Because we love our brethren. And especially, listen, I have a 15-year-old granddaughter, 15 years old. She just turned 15. She just completed 15 years. And let me tell you something, she's as precious to me as the day is long. And the
yeah,
notion of somebody, some step parent or some teacher or somebody else putting a camera in her bathroom or some other deviant behavior like that, brother, best keep me away or I'm gonna need bail money.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah,
Best keep me away or I'm gonna need bail money. Okay.
because if Yahweh give me strength, I will need because there'll be a spirit like Samson get on me. I'd want to take a jawbone of the ass and start crack a lacking.
I'm not playing no more. I was nice. I was kind. I'm gonna tell you right now, Yahuwah Elohim began to show me there's some people that have gone too far.
Yeah,
Okay. There's a point at which you give them space to repent, like he said to Jezebel, right? And he gives them space to repent. And so they're discovering they're going the wrong way. They know they're going the wrong way. And so they say, okay, I need to turn. I need to change. All right. I need to do something. And they go get help. All right. All right. Now that person we have compassion on. right? That person, we say, okay, let's pull the punches now. We don't need to hurt this person's coming for help. But it's a whole nother thing when you're out there in the public justifying your abuse as if it should be normal, as if this should be accepted, as if this is a part of the way we should be learning to now live in Sodom and Gomorrah. No. This is where we have to, as parents, as grandparents, as pastors and leaders, if you are capitulating to this Babylonian liars, these pedophiles coming for children, you are just as guilty as they are.
The Roman Catholic Church spends a lot of money, billions of dollars probably, just for lawsuits, against their priest, you see, to cover up their sin. Well,
that's right.
Well, honey, if you belong to a 501c3 corporation, you're part of that National Council of Churches, World Council of Churches, that brings you right into the modern Tower of Babel, honey. It's already a one world religious system, a one world economics, and you're asleep, you waiting on it to come, honey. It's been here.
It's already been here. And that's the thing, is that we're waking up. Okay. We waking up, and they just trying to get us to be quiet, like it's no big deal.
Yet you give in these churches.
Come on,
see, goes to the Roman Catholic Church. It goes to their state headquarters, and then they got to come off the hip paying Rome for their indulgences, where they can sin, you see, and get forgiveness of the pontiff in Rome. And so you're condoning it, you're supporting it, though you may look the other way, and live in a life of denial, but honey, you're part of the problem and not part of the solution, honey. If you're supporting and these Jesuits and these liars and these wolves in sheep's clothing.
And that includes all of them. I don't care. Look, you got to understand something, folks. If you cover for them, you're complicit. It's that simple.
That's
all right. If you're covering for them, you're complicit. And there's these fakes out there pretending to be ministers, ain't nothing but sinisters. Okay. And they want you to give them the honor of offerings and the honor of donations. Let me explain something to y'all. Okay. You're supposed to be bringing that where his name is. It's the only place authorized to receive those things. And those people that are stepping in front of that are taking his name in vain and believe that he will not hold guiltless those people who take his name in vain. And so there's all kinds of judgment that is now beginning to fall. And I want to tell you, they done forgot how the vineyard works. They lost their passion for the truth, and they've been searching the wrong scriptures. Okay, listen, we need to wake up. And there's no more time for justifying and rationalizing the actions of Jezebel. Okay, this is nothing but Jezebels that have run out there. What did he say? He told us, he warned us. He said, these Pharisees will go over hill and dale, and they will go chasing after proselytes, meaning disciples, who they will turn into twice the servant of hell as themselves. Okay. And look, all you got to do now is search Google, and you'll get the wrong dates, and they'll send you off into uncleanness. Right this way. Follow the Pharisees right this way.
Yeah.
Okay. And what will end up happening to you this whole next year? They got power to put curses on you because you did not consecrate the right day.
Well, you're in
because you fell into the judgment.
You're walking in darkness. You're tripping all over yourself. Everything's guesswork. And you're wondering why you're tripping all over yourself.
And the fruit is everywhere. My goodness. We saw a graphic. Brother posted a graphic today. It was like, if you're getting your doctrine from these preachers, you're being deceived. Man, that list, I don't even know how big that list would be.
Yeah.
But even in the, quote, Torah community, okay, y'all, they're a bunch of liars leading the Torah community.
Hello. They're just as bad. They're just as bad as the Christians. They are 501c3 corporations too, brother.
Worse than that. And it's worse than that because you're actually you knew that they left Babylon, and now you're trying to catch the children before they grow up. Come on, somebody. How many know what I'm talking about? They want to catch you before you grow up and fact check them.
Yeah.
All right. Until you hit Truther's Journal and places like that, Remnant House and other places that are going to wake you up and say, no, you need to double check that. You need to understand why there's a book of Maccabees. You need to understand what that war was about. It wasn't about no 8 days and no oil and some other fake miracle. No, it's about the real thing and the real issue. And it's what it manifested as before the flood. This is how they got evil everywhere. Why everybody's mind was on evil continually. How'd they do that? They put them under a spell, saints, and they're trying desperately to keep that spell running, except there's a problem. And the problem is a remnant have awakened. Come on, somebody. A remnant is awake. Say it again. Hallelujah.
Yes, Balaam.
Woo, glory.
It's Balaam religion that's going on here, and we can find in the renewed covenant, you call New Testament, only three instances that Balaam was mentioned, and in sequence, I forget what chapters and books it is, but it starts out as the way of Balaam, and
that's right.
Then it comes the way
of Balaam,
of Yahushua,
and a different way.
Yeah, and it's just the way we do things around here, This is the way we always done things,
Yeah. Oh, this goes way back. Oh no, you don't understand. This goes way back. Yeah, it goes way back. So far, it goes back until they had to bring a flood. Elohim had to drop a flood on them.
Yeah,
and the only people he saved, the people that were on the right time.
Then it goes into an error. Balaam goes right into an error. Of Balaam, an error of Balaam, and we can read on that. And also look up Balaam in your concordance.
What sin did Balaam lead the children of Israel into that caused the curse to come upon them? Anybody?
Yeah.
What happened? Midianite women? What was that? Somebody say it out there.
Well,
sexual sin.
Yes. Have your
sexual sin.
Women start, mixing, he said, have you, he couldn't curse them. Every time he tried
to get them to sin.
Yeah.
He had to get them to sin so he can get paid, so he can get some mammon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all about the money. And so, and prestige, and position, ego. And so here we go.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And he tells them, what you do, send your pretty girls up there to flirt with them pretty Israelite boys.
Come on now. And what stayed the plague? A man of righteousness had a javelin. Yeah. Okay, that's what stayed the plague. A man of righteousness had a javelin and said, "Boom."
And then
I'm telling you, the zeal of the priests is in us tonight.
Girls, they flirting with each other, honey, and that's where messed up, and Israel has never got over it since.
They learned something from Balaam. They learned, Balak
and his people was the
error of Balaam worked. A stumbling block. Ooh, let's put that in front of the people, and they'll stumble on their own. We don't have to, and then we could be innocent. We could be like, oh, well, we didn't actually tell you to do that. See, here's the other thing, folks. They know the right things. They know righteousness. They know the days. They know the calendar. They know all of this. They deliberately deceive you, the public, because they want you under their spell.
Yeah.
All right. And that's why we have this war going on. And I want to tell you right now, we will disturb the pedophiles. If you see one getting disturbed, okay, and they're like, I'm disturbed, I even have to tell y'all this. Pedophile. Okay, I upset Jezebels. I get them angry. Well, you might want to get used to that, honey, unless you're willing to repent. Okay, well, you might want to get used to that.
If your pastor or preacher you're sitting under doesn't call out the wolves, it's probably because he is one.
Hello. He just said that out loud. That was the quiet part out loud. Okay. And they don't want to tell you about the wolves because they are covering for them. Yes. All right. And they know full well, they know darn well, lying through their teeth left and right. When they speak, they're lying. And I'm going to tell you, saints, it's time for y'all to wake up to this. We can only give you so much information. We can point out, oh, this, look at this, and this, look at that. But how many know at some point you need to exercise your discernment?
Yeah.
You need to say, oh, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Wait, what? You did what? Oh, you want us to think that's normal? I'm still tripping over this story that, boy, we're going to hit it hard tomorrow night, folks, on all the stories of these sick things. These are right in the news. I mean, we're covering the news tomorrow night. We're going to cover some of the details. But spiritually speaking, these are wolves. And brother, there's a reason why they're attacking shepherds who are calling them out. What are they really after? They're not really after us, are they?
No, they're not.
We're just after the children.
They got to remove us out of the way, because we'll protect the innocent, and there's innocent blood on their hands, and they're going to have to give count. There's innocent.
And there it is. They're trying to run from the accounting. Okay. So they get mad. Listen, this is why Messiah said it would be better for some of you to have a millstone tied around your neck and cast into the sea, but that you lay a finger. You hurt one of these little ones. And you don't have to physically hurt them, because physically that might not, maybe you working up to it. How many know these guys don't start off, attacking the children? No, they start off in little ways.
Oh, they
start off with these little things. Yeah.
Grooming.
Okay, grooming. Oh, brother, you just said a big word there. They start grooming them. They start making it normal. They're grooming a whole nation right now, trying to tell everybody, oh, no, this is just an alternative lifestyle. Oh, this is not. Oh, y'all are being too religious and too stodgy. Okay. Oh, time to.
The reason why churches cannot say anything against this stuff, because they're a corporation too. They have organized, and if you're part of this mega corporation,
it affects your money.
Well, you can't speak evil against a sister corporation, or you will lose your if you're a preacher and you start preaching real truth in these here in these temples of Baal, then you will lose your church. You will be sent to jail and lose everything you have, because you broke the contract of the corporation that you agreed to, and that you're tied in. So you can't talk about the pharmaceutical company. You can't talk bad about the Roman Catholic Church or anybody else. You can't talk about any kind of bad business, pharmaceutical companies, you name it. Even these, gay or whatever movements that
you can't talk about nothing. You're not allowed to talk about anything.
You're powerless. All you can do, people are not even getting milk of the word in these places. It's sugar water. They just get jizzed up and they get
They get told, oh no, it is. It's the Day of Atonement. Don't listen to those crazy guys. They don't know what they're doing. They're so disturbing. That's what we disturb them. I love that. I love that we disturb pedophiles. I enjoy disturbing pedophiles. Please spell my name right. Thank you very much. Wow. That's amazing to me. But guess what, saints? There's the war we're in right now. There's the war we're in. And if you think that it's going to get lighter, you're wrong. Okay. You can't imagine what we got to face coming up very quickly here, because I want to tell you right now, the forces of evil are out in great numbers with the intent of grabbing. Look, you're in the way. If you're protecting your child from this evil, you're in the way. You're a shepherd holding it fast. That's why we need to unite. We need to be together, because if we're not united, they'll divide and they'll conquer.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're after. And they're after your children.
Yes. Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Baptist, organization or denomination, in the States, Protestant, Catholic Protestant. And
may as well be Catholics. Go ahead.
Yeah. I've got the article where they got busted, with a lot of this here child,
what a shock.
I've got the article. I don't know if
this is the spirit that Antiochus brought in, saints. This is what they brought in when they accepted this false worship. when they allowed the substitution of the pathway that the Zadok alone were holding fast, the thing that the king of the earth for 242 years told his great-grandson, Enoch told everybody, and his great-grandson's the only one that made it through that flood, right? He wiped out everybody behind this, and they held the line until here come Antiochus and his boys. Yep. And they put pigs on altars, started killing people, ran these boys over to Qumran, where they had to take the whole temple library. Go on to the Truther's Journal. He'll show you the whole story.
Well,
the whole thing's there for you to read. It's not like it's hidden news, I'm telling you here, folks. You're just dealing with the same spirits. You're dealing with the same pedophile, wicked spirits that Messiah had to confront. And if you think they're going to be nice to you,
and it's just not in the religious realm. How about the man that's up in the White House? He's a bad one. He's a bad egg. So it's in it's in the government corporations too. I mean,
it's everywhere,
running rampant. And
listen, we got to pray for our law enforcement. Okay, we got to pray for our sheriffs. Let me tell you something, guys. You got to pray for your county sheriff. You have to pray for that man, that person in authority in your county. He has the highest law office in your state is the sheriff, the county sheriffs. All right. Nobody can do anything without the sheriff's permission. You gotta pray for these sheriffs. You need to pray for the good guys. They're not perfect. Okay. They make their mistakes too. We know that, and we hold them accountable to that. We hold them accountable for that. But they go into some very dark places. They have to go clean these messes up. And we need to have compassion on these men and these women who have to go into these dark places. And we need to pray cover over them, because I'm telling you right now, and the nurses and the doctors and everybody that has any kind of heart, when they see the victims of this wickedness, okay, this is where it's all going. So when you see them lying to you over here, you think it's innocent. No, it's part of the grooming process.
What do you think
they put you under witchcraft? Go ahead.
Why do you think they want to biochip them so they can find where they're at? They'll know exactly where they're at to pick them up. Children are coming up missing all the time.
Some of my good friends are law enforcement. I was raised by a homicide detective. Some of my good friends are law enforcement. I'm sorry, I know that we can save criminals and criminals can get saved. And we do pray for criminals to get saved, and we will be compassionate to a repenter, someone who's repenting for their sin. But if you want to be, you want to continue in that behavior that's hurting people, well, we are not the ones for you. No, sir. That is not what shepherding is for. We're not supposed to be covering for that. And anybody that's doing that misunderstands the role of the shepherd and the pastors and the fivefold. We're not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to expose the deeds of darkness, not cover for that kind of wickedness. No. And I'm telling you right now, I'm lit, and this fire ain't going to go out. I'm going to keep marching and marching and marching till I disturb all of them.
Yeah.
Amen. Because I want to tell you right now, saints, it is about time that the righteous get up and say, oh, we've had about enough. You're not touching my grandchild. You're not going to do this wickedness to my children. And now when you see it here, when you see this picture, understand the spiritual implications. They are coming for spiritual babies who are too dumb, let's be honest, who do not know the right way to walk. So when they come out of Babylon and they're like, oh, that's wicked, you Babylonian wickedness, and they start walking away, guess who's waiting right there? Guess who's waiting? With their cons. Yeah.
Jonathan,
with their frauds, with their fraud, okay? With their cons. All right. Waiting right there for you babies. Oh, yeah, those bad Babylonians. Come on over here. Let me show you some of my Kabbalah Gematria tricks. Let me show you my divination. Right? You don't even know that you're being taken into another ditch.
Oh, and all of that, magic. But anyway.
And it's easy to fall. Saints, it's easy to fall into these tricks. And this is why, look, you need seasoned brothers who will say, okay, they attack because you're in the way. Why do you think they attack my brother over here? They attack my brother right here, this brother right here. They attack him because he keeps busting them. They tried to shut his blog down, right? Then we start reading the blog going, no wonder they try to shut you down.
Yeah.
No wonder. Because look at all the stuff you keep busting them on. Okay, hello.
Today I've had probably last time I looked before 7 o'clock, and I shut everything down, and we had over 300 views just today. We've had we'll probably top 1,000 views this week, and probably for the month of September we'll probably end up with over 3,000 views. People coming in there, and digging in, and I want you to know it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. I have my cousin over in the state of Washington. That's she's just just absorbing all that she can, honey. Her brain was so buzzed out with all this information. She said, "I got to take a break." I said, "Honey, take a break. Just take a bite slowly. Do well."
I got too many circuits breaking here. Like they lied to me about that too. Okay, I need to walk around the block right now. This is what they do this to you.
I had another brother. We just added him, to the fellowship because when you come into my Facebook, we're homeschooling. You subscribe to class, and this brother, he started getting into it, and man. He called me a couple of times, sent me little videos of him crying. He's just overwhelmed that he can't hardly just grasp how long he's been lied to and about so much. It is overwhelming, children. Don't let it overwhelm you, though.
We don't like that. We don't like people to be overwhelmed. We want you to be informed. We want you to know the truth because the truth will make you free. Yeah. So now you can see them. So anybody, I don't care if they're Jim, John, Joe, Frank, Tom. I don't care if they're the preacher been preaching for 50 years. I don't care. If they tell you these lies coming from these Pharisees, you know who they work for. Yeah. It's just that simple. And when you get it that simple, that's when they can't stand you anymore because they are done trying to fool. They can't fool you, so the fangs come out. Once they know they cannot fool you anymore, that you're not going to fall. Think about every abusive relationship you've ever gotten away from. Every one of you have been abused by narcissists, wicked people, and they're nice to you as long as you agree with them. As long as you let them getting away with it, as long as you putting up with it. But as soon as you start to call out, wait a second, you did what? Then the fangs come out. How come? Because they were wolves the whole time.
Yeah.
You just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Okay. And this, go ahead.
A lot of times what I found out, when your hand's caught in the cookie jar, you don't say, "Oh, look over here where my hand's in the cookie." You diversify and you say, "Oh, look over there." You change direction. And so, they want to make somebody else the bad guy,
the prosecutor. They go after the very one prosecuting them. They'll tell them the cops are the one. The cops are bad. Those cops, man, they threw me on the ground and they put handcuffs on me and they abused me. Use a pedophile. What you expect was going to happen?
Yeah.
Right? You attacking children. This guy a 14-year-old was videotaped on a plane. He put a video camera on the toilet. He said, "Right this way, young lady." Goes in there, sets up the camera, and then lets her go in to go potty. And then when her parent came to look, that camera was gone. This is premeditation. This is no longer just an innocent guy who needs some ministry. No, that time came and left. Now he's going to meet federal officers at the end of the off-ramp as he leaves the plane. They took him directly into custody. Thank you, good guys. Way to go. Take him to custody. Why? He needs to go to prison.
Yeah.
He needs to sit behind bars. Okay, this is not, no, we're not the ones. That's not supposed to be okay. I'm so glad to hear that they did that. How many? There's a whole lot more of them they need to pick up. Some of them are fugitives right now, running from the law, and they're still sitting up teaching y'all. Okay, you need to understand that these wicked vessels of Pharisees' doctrine are themselves captured, and they will make you a captive too. Just like those guys that they send out, good looking guys or good looking women, to get their victims and tell them they're going on a date. And this good looking guy or good looking girl is telling them they're going on. Next thing you know, the person that thought they were going on a date ended up in a cage somewhere, and no one ever hears from them again. Okay, saints, we got to stop being naive. And this is just the natural things that we can see. So now we're going to move this to the spiritual side, okay? Because why are they attacking children who don't know much? Why are they after the children? Why do you think the Pharisees wanted to stop John? Tell them why, brother. Tell them what they're really after.
Well, they're after our souls, very souls, honey. They want to kill us, and anybody that's going to walk in the light, in the truth, to expose them. They did that with Yochanan, John the immerser, and
He called out the man for taking his brother's wife, and that cost him his head.
yeah, cost him his head. Yeah.
Why? Because he told the truth.
And some gal dancing naked in front of him, and swayed him, huh? And
I can't imagine what spirits were in there. What spirits were in there?
Oh, well, I'll say an orgy spirit. They've probably had an orgy going on. Who knows? And here we have. I'll give you anything you want. Since you pleased me, I'll give you anything you want. She said, I want the head of Yochanan. And
that was a spirit.
Yeah, it was.
That was a murderous demon who
Yeah.
spoke the destruction of the remnant.
Yeah.
That same spirit will come for you when they finally get their way and the person says, I'll give you anything you want. I want the head of this spirit, these men of Elohim. I want the head of these people of Elohim. Why are they coming for your head? Why are they coming so hard? You want to know why? They're after John's disciples.
Yes.
They're after those that are awake. They want to shut it down like they did when Antiochus came into Israel and wanted to shut down the Zadok, wanted to kill them all. And thankfully, Elohim, by his grace and mercy, gave our great-grandparents the wisdom to get out of Dodge, to know when it was time to go, okay, and get out of there. And this is why we're telling you some of these things, because there are some places where you can see you are being surrounded by wolves. Yes. And saints, you don't have to come here. You don't have to go any particular place, but you might want to get out of there. Okay. Yeah. You might want to get away from those who are already under judgment, where you are seeing this perversion, where you're seeing them justify or rationalize. Okay. Am I right, brother? Where they're justifying this stuff, all right? Where they're looking the other way, like, oh, it's not that bad. Well, we have to have compassion on them, brother. Oh, yeah. Brother, don't come on so hard, because we need to be compassionate with these poor souls. The time for that has come and gone.
Yeah.
Come and gone. He says to that tree that's bringing forth bad fruit, he says, I'll dig and dung it for 1 year. 1 year. Time's up.
Yeah.
You're supposed to repent. Oh, you don't want to repent? Ain't no problem. No problem at all. Now the remnant are going to see you. Now the light's going to come on. We're going to know what you really are. And all these hidden places are going to be exposed. And I'm going to tell you a little something about the anointing. You don't want to mess with the anointing that can cause things that are hidden to be revealed. And the people that are operating with secret things in the dark, okay, all those secrets are coming to the light.
Yes,
all of them. All right, the light's coming for all of it. So Learn how to live in the light. And this is one of the beautiful things about being with your brethren. In Psalm 133, he says, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. You want to know something that is a side benefit of dwelling together with your brethren? Ain't no place to hide.
Yeah.
There's no secrets you can hold on to. You're going to get caught if you're doing things you shouldn't be. You got high levels of accountability. How many know that that's where children will be safe?
Yes.
Okay, where there's a lot of bright light. All right. We not only do not allow, listen carefully, we not only do not allow cameras on our property to surveillance. We don't allow that. Not only that, we got anti-camera devices to expose hidden cameras. Yeah, we ain't playing. See, saints, we don't play. No. And then we're going to find out who put it. And that person's going to get prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Because that's some wickedness right there. Nope. We don't even have people like, oh, don't you have security cams? No, because that could be misused. That could be hacked. Okay. That's this nosy world that thinks they're entitled to know everything. No. And I'll tell you right now, all of you out there, all of you need to go invest some money in camera. And there's apps for this, by the way. Okay. There's little apps you can put them on your phone and you could download it into your phone. All right. If you feel a little nervous, you're starting to get a check, you whip that thing out and start looking around. You might be shocked how many times you are under surveillance. You didn't even know it. That's how many perverts and weirdos we have living in our world. And how many know that once you start to find stuff like that, you're going to, all of a sudden, you're going to be a little less comfortable in Babylon.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the kinds of sins these people are committing.
Yeah.
All right. And so you need to understand this is real, saints. And they are perpetrating this because they believe you are nothing but their little lab rats.
Yeah.
You're nothing but their little peons. You're beneath them.
Well,
You're beneath them.
Yeah. We're not even human. I mean, or even people to them.
They're entitled.
Yeah.
How much entitlement do you have to have in your mind? Yeah. How much entitlement did this psychopath on a plane think he had? That he had that much audacity. Okay, that kind of audacity. All right, this ain't going away quick. No, sir. And if you know people have done this, you know what? It's not time for being nice no more. Not unless they're repenting in tears. All right, and they're walking backward, and they better be going back fast. And I'm telling you right now, they still gonna face consequences.
Oh yeah,
because I don't care who you are. You do some of this stuff to children, their parents are coming for you.
Yes.
They're coming for you.
It's consequences that controls behavior. It makes it more or less likely. And if there's no consequences to bad behavior, then it'll continue on.
No, law enforcement, if you're listening, you have the green light from heaven to get these boys, to get these women, to get these perpetrators.
Make it immediate and quick and fast. Do not delay or dilly-dally.
Nope.
Because if we don't do anything, we're just condoning it and we're encouraging the behavior.
There it is right there. I mean, if you look the other way and you find out, imagine such a thing, okay? And you find out somebody's trying to groom your niece, your nephew, your cousin, somebody you love, and somebody's trying to groom them. They're 14. If you ain't fighting mad inside of 5 minutes, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Okay, there's something wrong. You've been put to sleep. Okay, exactly. Thank you, Giant Killer. This is my primo hermano down in Florida. All right, and he says, "Good men who do nothing are complicit." That's correct. Okay, you complicit, and I'm gonna blow the cover off of them sinisters acting like ministers. Y'all better run now. Y'all better run. I gave you a head start. I'm not playing. This is not a joke. And this is very serious because of the implications. It's not just about the abuse and jail and all of that. No, it's about hell, saints. They're trying to make twice the servants of hell as themselves. They were abused and they want to abuse others. Okay? That's the way it works. You, my brothers and my sisters, we are all, as the remnant, where the buck stops. where the abuse ends, where the generational curse meets its demise, where the demonic familiar spirits have their out. This is where they get cast out. We are where it ends. We are the buck that stops it all. This is not supposed to continue on down to our children and grandchildren. Maybe you're one of those people that said, man, I was victimized as a child. I remember I had a brother that was extremely narcissistic and extremely abusive. And it was until I was 16 years old that I finally had the courage to stand up against him. And I ended up beating that boy to the ground. And I had no choice. And this was something that Elohim had to do inside of me. My cousin's right here. He bore witness. All right. And I had to throw that thing off. And that's the only time that you're going to know what it's like to overcome, because you can't just stand there and keep cowering and letting them do the abuse that they wanted to do. Now, there comes a time when the righteousness of Yahuwah comes inside you and says, this far, no further. And that spirit don't know how to stop. How many know you got to stop that spirit? They don't know how to stop. Why do you think you got to throw them in hell? Okay, my cousin David was there when this spirit popped smoke and had to be literally physically restrained. Physically, you got to put hands on them because they're that crazy. They feel that entitled. Okay, well, it's not a joke.
Well, what do you think?
And I'm saying that at this point, you can't just play around with it.
What did the fallen ones do? Those fallen watchers, what we call, we find in Book of Enoch. What did they want to do? Mess with the daughters of men, with the women, mm-hmm. and so there's and it brought forth the Nephilim, you see, and they took on that same perversion of their daddies, and it carries on into people, when these Nephilim perverted spirits are ruling in high places. Is that where we find these devils at? In high places, in position, and places of control.
They love power. Oh my goodness, do they love power? Wow, I think they love power more than they love abusing. And then it is this thing they want to be able to say, well, let me tell you, and they want everyone to listen to them, right? And it's like,
if the child, because they grade them, I'm sure they do, if they're worthy to be, some pervert's mate for a while, then chances are they'll end up in slave camps, working themselves to death, and then possibly, sacrifices. You'd be surprised the child sacrifices going on in this world by evil.
We tell them this 10 years ago, they think we're crazy. But thank Elohim that he's used the Q movement, the white hats, and all this other stuff. Great, fantastic. Are you guys awake now? Good. Do you know that you're dealing with Canaanites? Do you know that you're dealing with the Pharisees? Do you understand that this goes back 2,000 years of the same people, the same spirits? Oh, that's wonderful. Let me help you with some more red pills. They're sitting up and they're the ones that are teaching you. That's why they got you convinced to consecrate the wrong day. Well, see, why do they want you consecrating the wrong day?
Yeah.
Because then their witchcraft will work.
After the flood, Nimrod, who was he married to? His own mama. How perverted is that? What do you think Tammuz was? A bastard child, incest child, and that's your Trinity. That's your Babylonian Trinity.
Yep.
That's where they got the moon. They had orgies, and things. What do you think the temple prostitutes were for? They were nothing but brothels.
That's right. And no, it's not a joke. And it's serious stuff. And look, there is not a single one of the Nazarene, not one of them followed these pedophiles. Somebody said, well, I don't know why they need me to tell them this so many times. You want to know why we don't listen to you? Because you are Pharisee pedophile. That's why. Every time you talk, every time you speak, I'm going to keep repeating that. You ain't nothing but a Pharisee pedophile. Go ahead and make me prove it. Yeah. I'm so done. I've had it.
I had one fella say, you're just preaching to the choir. Well,
Yeah, I
he
like
didn't
my choir.
he didn't know I was a choir director, and I have more fun with the choir. And let me tell you something else. I know who leads the battle in this war. Honey, it was the
Yep.
musicians and the singers, honey, that went before the armies. Honey, they were singing praises to Yahuwah, blowing their shofars and their trumpets and their musical instruments, shouting victory before they even had victory.
You know it. You know
So,
it. And this is the dangerous thing, saints, because I want to tell you right now, they want to pretend to be your friends. And one of the scariest enemies on earth are those people who pretend to be your friend,
well, what
who you think are coming to help you, right? They're going to come tell you the right way, like Cain going out there to tell everybody how they should be worshiping, creating religion after religion.
or
All right,
Judas
Cain ran around making all kinds of lies up, or Judas, another one.
kissing your
Okay,
cheek, and getting the silver, budding you up.
And here's where they're taking you, right here. They're taking you right here where you won't even know it's coming until it hits you.
Yeah.
All right. And this is why we have no choice. This is the way wolves operate. Okay. Especially the ones that masquerade as in sheep's clothing. Yeah. Because they want you to believe they're one of you. Oh, brother, oh, sister. And they'll say Yahuwah, just like Balaam did. Balaam spoke his name. Yeah. Balaam, I remember reading that in the scripture reading going, wow, this guy knew the name of Yahuwah. Man, that takes some cojones. Whoo, man, does he have? Man, that's gutsy. Wow, you are that brazen? Yup. He knew the name of Yahuwah. Yeah. He was a mystic operating from the Chaldeans in these mysticisms.
And that third time in the renewed covenant, when it's spoken, it became a doctrine. It's part of the teaching. It's part of their dogmas and creeds, honey. It's there. So it goes in from a way of doing it to an error and to a doctrine. And so
that's right. And where will you find that? There's a whole group of people. Let me tell y'all something, okay? And my brother will back me up. There's a whole group of people that rejected Mashiach. They became enemies with Mashiach. So they're anti-Messiah. Go ahead and think that through. Okay, here, I'll do it in the Greek. They're anti-Christ. That help you a little better? Okay. That group, they're the ones who said, well, we need a different way to ascend to glory. Mm-hmm. So we can have the Zohar, splendor, right? And they wanted, what they do, they go around Messiah and they want to ascend, going around Mashiach.
And did you know that's a serpent? That's a serpent spirit. They say that, and it's very kin and, goes right along with the Kundalini spirit, you see. And that's what's infiltrated a lot of your churches, is that Kundalini. They think, I'm feeling the Shekinah glory, and getting all of that oozy feeling, honey, it ain't nothing but that serpentine spirit getting in.
Hello. Okay. And so once you get delivered and you're set free, you're going to look crazy to some people because they're going to be like, how come you're not going along with the program? Because you're awake and you're not under the spell anymore. You're now looking around at all these drones and all these zombies who don't. When's Day of Atonement? I don't know. Ask Google. I don't know. Let's ask Google. Let's Google it. Because that's always the right answer. Unbelievable, right? A holy thing. And you're asking Google?
No.
Really? I'm a little embarrassed for you. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, seriously, you really think Google's got the right answer? No. They deliberately are trying to deceive you because they are in on the whole magic thing. They need you to go back to sleep. Y'all being awake is a big problem. Haven't you noticed? Yeah. And that's why, and there's some of them are Google partners. They don't even know they're being sued. Google partners means that Google is paying them to come for you. They're in on it together.
Oh, yes. All the corporations are.
When they find out, then they will be sorry. And that's when you're going to see, and don't take nobody who gets past this point today that comes out and says, I'm sorry. Nah. Nah, they're only sorry because they got caught now. They're getting sorry because they're getting caught. Okay. Now they're going to be sorry. Where was your sorrow for the victim? Where was your sorrow for those millions you deceived? Where's your sorrow for all the people that you gave corrupted text to and deliberately participated and are complicit in corrupted text? You know darn well that text was corrupted, and you went ahead and based your stuff on that anyway because it helped you.
Yeah.
Hailstones and coals of fire. That's right. And so this is why we have to stop. Normally we have pleasant conversations about pleasant things. We normally have some of the funnest conversations on our Yom Rishons, right? But we had to say, hold up. We have to warn you about these wolves.
Well, now,
okay?
Now, where does the sheep, and if you are, because they are sheep that's not of his fold, and then there's goats out there too, that'll eat anything. But if you are his lamb, where do we find ourselves lost at? It's when we're away from the fold, when we're away from the flock, you see, and a lamb or sheep, can get over the hill out of sight of the rest of the flock. They get out of view of the shepherd, you see, and they're totally lost. They don't know how to get back.
That's right.
And that's why the shepherds and his helpers, the sheepdog, were frantically watching over the sheep when so he has one
because
more
because they've already seen what they'll do to the shepherd. Okay, there's a reason why he raises up elders, and there's an office of an elder. What is this job? It's right there in 1 Peter. The elders which are among you, I exhort, whom also an elder, a witness of the sufferings of Messiah. That's plural. That's not one suffering. That's many sufferings, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of Elohim, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. And neither is being lords over Elohim's heritage, but being an example unto the flock. So people can see what a grandfather who doesn't abuse children looks like, what a grandfather who protects his people will look like, what an aunt and an uncle who does it right will look like. Okay, this is why we need those who Elohim chooses to place in positions of authority. So we have good models. We have somebody to look at and say, okay, I see the way I need to be. I can't give these guys no quarter. No, you cannot. You cannot, because if you give them an inch, they will take 500 miles.
Oh, yeah, they'll slaughter that lamb. That lamb won't have a chance if the shepherd don't get to him, and get him untangled out of all of that tangle up he's gotten into. And if he keeps and him crying out, the shepherd hears the cry too, and he's running as fast as he can to get to you. But that wolf hears that cry too. And now it's a foot race between the wolf getting to you and the shepherd.
That's right. And this is what they discredit certain things, saints. They're going to keep doing it because they know that if you get to safety, they've lost you permanently. Yes. Once a person gets free from their demonic control, the deliverance is permanent. And so Elohim pronounces a judgment in Deuteronomy 17, if there be found among you within any of your gates, which Yahuwah thy Elohim giveth thee, man or woman, that have wrought wickedness in the sight of Yahuwah thy Elohim, in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods, and worshiped them, either the sun or moon, or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told to thee, and thou hast heard it, and inquired diligently, behold, it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Yasharel. This is why the Zadok got upset. This is why they grabbed their swords when Antiochus insisted that they worship the moon. Look what he said. Then shalt thou bring forth that man and that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates. Even that man or that woman shall stone them with stones until they die. So this is how serious it is. Now, I'm not suggesting we do that today, because how many know that we don't operate this way today, but the principle of the kingdom is still there.
But
This is not acceptable.
Yahuwah will. He said in his last
He
days,
will.
hailstones weighing a talent. That's nearly 100 pounds coming down with velocity.
It's been declared. Now watch what happens.
And it's going to
watch what he does.
It's going to strike this earth. What is that? The stoning of that whore and that prostitute that's, that's been having her way over this world, that, that has drunk the blood of the innocents.
That's right.
And so, yeah, so there's going to be a stoning. We don't have to stone them, but Yahuwah's going to get that harlot church.
No, we don't have to do anything but pray. Okay, we don't have to do anything but stand here and declare the truth without compromise.
Hit Egypt, it didn't hit
Goshen.
That's
all we got to do.
When Egypt was hit with hailstones, Goshen, that the folks that was walking in covenant, and walking in the light, that the curses didn't fall on them.
This is what I'm trying to say, and this is one of the things that I've noticed. And so I'm a bit of a scientist when it comes to some of this stuff. I look for fruit. I want to know what that fruit is. I want to test. I want to eat it. I want to test it. I want to see it. Somebody says, follow me. I want to look at that life. Somebody gets upset and says, I don't understand why they're not following my advice. Well, we've taken a look at your life. That's why, honey bunny.
Yeah.
Okay. And we don't want to be somebody that puts cameras in 14-year-olds' bathrooms. So that might be the reason why we don't follow you. Just saying. And this is why it's a serious thing to fall into the hands of the mighty Elohim. This is the time for teshuvah. This is not the time to be playing games. So now they got people going to lift off. They got people thinking they're good, okay, because they didn't want to listen.
That's their terrors, with their head haughty, and prideful, And,
no, I'm done. I've had it. I think I feel a lot of what my brethren are feeling right now. They are frustrated with this wickedness. They want no part of it. Okay. And we've been too nice. We have let it get away. We have let, for a person to think that they're entitled to do these kinds of things to children means the parents and grandparents have failed to let them know that was not acceptable.
A lot of my work, when I'm counseling, and working with individuals, is doing damage control, things that's haunted them.
Almost all of our ministry is damage control.
Yeah.
All of it.
Trying to bring healing to that heart and that, brokenness, that mind that's all scrambled up, and trying to, bring peace into their life, and so that's where my brother Gerald's work has been, trying to restore. That's what Yahuwah, Yahusha was in. He's in the restoration business. He, what Satan, and how we can tell with his behaviors, he's out to steal, kill, and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
That's his character. I don't care how much scripture he can quote, he still uses it to steal, kill, and destroy. That's this pattern. He can't help himself. That's his nature. And now how is he going to do that in many different ways?
The protectors protect the children.
And what
because they want the children to go astray. If the children go astray, the children become victims.
Yeah.
So they know this. So they want to attack anybody who is in authority, who is protecting and defending the sanctity of that sheepfold. That's what my brother's saying here.
And what Yahusha said, now see, there's two destroyers on this earth. One is Satan, steal, kill, and destroy. But what did Yahusha say? I come to destroy the works of the devil. Honey, that's what
right.
We're out here destroying the works of the devil.
And this is why they get mad. They get mad because, look, they can't get around the word. They try to say things, oh, I'm preaching from the scripture. Yeah, right. But the priests, the sons of Levi, or the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary. What's the sanctuary? The safe place. The place where the children were safe, where the children would be saved right? Instead, what happened when they attacked the Zadok? It says, when the children of Yasharel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me. So the Zadok have held fast. They get to come near and minister to Yahuwah Elohim, to Yahuwah Sebaot. Okay, Yahuwah Sebaot. And if you're not afraid of Yahuwah Sebaot, you don't have much wisdom.
About the Zadok, and the Levites, of course, the Levites' priesthood ended, when Yahusha came. But you see, the Zadok priesthood is everlasting. There's no end.
Hello.
So you think, well, I don't have to give, and support ministry because, that was to the Levites. Well, yes, a portion was, but honey, they was Zadok's there too. Zadok's wasn't done away with, and if you're not supporting and helping the ministry, and who are your Zadok ministers today? Well, that's your fivefold ministry children. That's who's
right.
walking in it.
And he specifically warned us that these things would come. And this is what I love about the things that were preserved for us, my brethren. He says, look, because for Ben Zadok, this is the final word. And there will be those who will surely make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year, 10 days too soon. Year 2, or you're early. Okay, you're declaring Yom Kippur on the wrong day. All right, because you don't discern the king of the Zadok. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make the abominable day. What's this? What is this? It's actually telling you beforehand. This was written when? 200 years before Mashiach, right? Is when the earliest recording we have of this one, the earliest copy, if you will. The day of testimony, an unclean day, a feast day, and they will confound all the days. Well, what do you know? Look at that. It was predicted. The Kodesh with the unclean with the Kodesh, for they will go wrong. Yeah, Google's wrong. Imagine that. They will go wrong as to the months and Shabbats and feasts and jubilees. For this reason, I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. So our job is to bear testimony on the record, letting them know they're incorrect, right? That they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, because they're so stubborn and they're so disturbed, for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new months and seasons and Shabbats. And look at this word. It says it right here. They're going to disturb. I think that's an interesting word because, the Pharisees, they get all upset when you correct and you bring the truth. They get very upset and very verklempt. Well, that's nothing new. And so you have to have the courage to stand up, my brothers and sisters, to stand against those who commanded you. Listen carefully. They commanded you not to use his name. Are you going to listen to them? But when they had come, they had commanded them to go aside out of the council. They conferred among themselves, saying, what shall we do with these men? For that indeed a notable miracle had been done by them. And it's manifest that all who dwell in Jerusalem, we cannot deny it. But that it spread no further among the people, let us straightway threaten them, that they speak henceforth to no man, what? In this name. Well. They've been fighting his name this whole time. Yeah. And they commanded them not to speak nor teach in the name of Yahusha. That's why they don't care what other name you use. They will give you 1,000 variations.
There you
don't
go.
Use this one.
Yeah. And and I'm trying to be nice, and I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but his name is Yahuwah, not Yahweh. And a matter of fact, the Freemasonry uses the name Yahweh. YAH may be part Hebrew, but the way is not, WEH is not Hebrew at all.
No, it's Yiddish.
Now, what I understand that even at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, you can say Yahweh or Yeshua, and not be carted off. It'd be okay. But you start saying Yahusha and Yahuwah, they'll cart you off the property. Now, it's my understanding. So yeah, they hate that name, and so they're
They
going
hate it.
to throw up his name is Jehovah, and and all kinds of diversions, and things, and because if they keep us divided, they're going to keep us conquered. But if we ever come into one mind and one accord, on the same page, same vision, same mission,
Yep.
honey, they won't be able to do nothing with us, children.
That's what they're scared of. And that's
Mm,
why they keep trying to come in and do the divide and conquer program. That's why
yeah.
they come right in amongst the saints with no fear at all. They have no problem coming into the temple. Did you not notice that Judas was awfully comfortable at the Last Supper table? Man, that takes some cojones. Okay,
Mm,
not even afraid, coming right in there, about fitting to betray him, and it's eating at his table. That is the brazen level that you are dealing with today, folks. You're dealing with spirits. They do not care who they hurt. They don't care if you're, oh, so, too bad that you got caught. Oh, well, should have moved. As far as they're concerned, you being a victim is just, oh, well, just, one of those side things that happens. All right. It's not their fault. Of course not. And see, this is why we need to stop being so um, uh, ridiculous about this, because some of them you don't even realize that they're already on the outside, saints. Okay, they're already been sorted. They're already out, and they're out there like dogs complaining because they know they're not going in. So now all they're doing is making all a bunch more disciples, just like the abuse victim who knows that they're warped inside now. What do they end up doing? A lot of them end up abusing a child, passing it on. And even though they regret and they cry and all this, it doesn't matter. The child's now victimized. Okay. And so what does the Messiah say? He said, the Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that do offend and them which do iniquity. So they continue to practice unrepentant iniquity. And how many do you know, do not know that they've already been sorted out? They don't even know they've been sorted, and
no,
they're still talking. Okay.
yeah,
And Judas was still talking. And so just understand that. Now, yeah, we're going to hurt some people's feelings, but we need to tell you the truth.
yeah.
If you're holding on to an idol and you thought it was legitimate, well, let's go ahead and bust that open, okay? Because the one on the left over here is an idol and an imposter. And if you invited this into your heart, you invited in something that was imitating and imposturing the real. It is the anti, it is the instead of. A false Messiah born in Rome at the Council of Nicaea. This name was created by men, not delivered by an angel. This false name was invented. It's got a false gospel and a false doctrine and a false religion. That's why the results are what they are. When people come over and they discover the truth, all of a sudden those demons can't hang out anymore, because this one was born in Bethlehem, the house of bread. This name was given by an angel sent by Yahuwah Elohim. This one is come in Father's name, the only name under heaven whereby men must be saved. And so anybody who is telling you anything other than that works for the pedophiles.
I think it's
How's
in
that for clear?
the book Luke, I believe it is, when the angel spoke to Mariam. Uh, she the angel spoke. You can see it right there. Spoke to her in her native tongue. Well, her
Yep.
native tongue isn't Latin, English, you know, or anything. It's Hebrew.
That's right.
And so that angel spoke to her in Hebrew and told
That's
her
right.
what her name was, and her relatives when they told and matter of fact, Joseph, he sort of
That's correct.
bucked and he couldn't even speak. He the angel took his ability to speak for a while because no, you ain't going to rebuttal this. There ain't there ain't no
There's
changing
no
it.
yeah, but. Yeah, there ain't no yeah, but.
Yeah, and her relatives didn't want her to name him that because they knew it was going to be his death warrant because of carrying the father's name. That was against the law, capital punishment of death. To even speak the name, write the name, express that name in any way. Only one person got to speak that name was the high priest well, he was a backslidden priest, that got to go into Holy of Holies once a year. But most people
There was
forgot
a
what.
whole lot of years that they died in 1 year, though. A whole lot of years that they had to replace the high priest every single year because they kept dying.
Yeah.
All right. And some of y'all are struggling because you want everybody to get it. You do. And I appreciate you guys. I love you all. You are so amazing. The remnant are amazing. You love everybody. But maybe the people that don't get it aren't supposed to. And this is a hard word, but we need to hear it. And the disciples came to him in Matthew 13 and said, why speakest thou to them in parables? All right. Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it's not given. And so not everybody is going to receive what you receive, Saint.
He said
Not everybody's going to see the wolves the same way you do.
He said, leave them alone.
And we need to be patient. Yep. You need to leave the blind alone. They be blind, leaders of the blind, and they have a job. This is what I learned through this process. The liars who come to lie against you, right? First of all, somebody's lying on you, and they always lie on you. Okay. They always have to make up stories because you're walking a certain way and they got to come up with something. So they lie, just like they did Messiah. If they did it to Messiah, you know they're going to do it to you, right? So they go pathological on you. They make up a bunch of lies and go out and spin it. And your first reaction, saints, and if you're in ministry, if you're called to, you're a shepherd, maybe you're one of the fivefold, and you're waking up and you're getting hot, mad, okay. But first, before you respond to these obvious liars, see who believes them. Just take a moment to look, just like Yahuwah did. And Yahuwah let a third of the angels fall. He could have stopped that mess, but he didn't. Okay. And he watched as people believe lies. Okay, let's see who believes them. Let's see why, because liars follow liars. Okay. And so when someone is deceived by lies, that tells you that they have a problem with telling the truth.
Yeah.
And I started to learn this. Messiah started to teach me this, like, whoa. So that's why he said, leave them alone, because they're going to draw off the people they're supposed to draw off from you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can come and get them. But then all the people that believe the liar are going to feel a certain kind of way. They're suddenly going to realize their discernment wasn't worth a bucket. Their discernment wasn't any good at all.
Well, birds of a feather flocks together. You can't make a bird into an eagle.
Exactly.
And
we don't like lies. We don't live this way. We have a high integrity life. Okay. My friends cannot take a lie. They will detect it and they will out you. You forgot something, or you failed to mention. And when you live in light like that, when you live with honest people who will correct themselves if they have made a mistake in telling a story, they will go back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I meant this and I meant that. That's high integrity. Okay. This is not what people are used to. They're used to everybody around them lie, so it's normal. Okay. And then they get around the Zadok. Now I want y'all to imagine you're going to visit Qumran. You've been invited by one of the residents of Qumran, the community of the Zadok priests, the community of the set apart, the Natsarim, and they've invited you to come. How do you go? Do you bring your Babylonian, swinging your Babylonian, playing your rock and roll as you go? Or would you maybe go home and say, I better change, I better get correct, I better learn, I better take a shower, I'm going to, oh my goodness. You would be intimidated. How come? Because you know these people live correct. You know these people are walking upright before Elohim. The blessing of Elohim is on them, right? Oh, you better watch it, right? Especially if you just heard about Ananias and Sapphira. I bet you right then you're going to be thinking twice about making pledges you don't plan to keep. Making promises you don't plan to keep. We got hundreds of people that signed up to be members of Remnant House. You know how many we got? Under 40 that are actual faithful members. There's a whole lot of them about to get the door in their face and going to be like, I thought I was. Yeah, we thought so too. We were so disappointed to see that you were faking it. Oops. We don't play. This is not a game. We're sitting here giving our time up to help y'all so that you do not follow these wicked people.
Yeah.
They are on their way to the fire. All right. They are not fearful and trembling as they minister. They are not shaking. They don't care. They have no fear of Elohim at all, or they'd have a whole lot more wisdom. I'm just saying. And I know that a lot of people don't like to hear stuff like that, and that's why they get away with it. Okay. They get away with it because nobody corrects it. And because we don't want to be the bad guy to come and say, this is not okay, children. All right. And, even elders, people that could study on their own. My brother right here, he's smart enough that he could study on his own. He could do everything on his own if he wanted to. You can learn by yourself. You can pray by yourself. You can study by yourself. But there's a lot of things you can do by yourself, but you can't assemble by yourself.
He says,
you can't say you were part of an assembly
he says,
by yourself.
Yeah. He says, not to forsake the assembling of yourselves as the manner of some are. Huh? And we got to have accountability. We got to
come on.
And we got to have each other, watching each other's back so we can stay on that straight and narrow.
And it's not just about correcting you either. It's also about authenticating. Look, because I've had a chance to spend time with my brother and spend time with his gift, I can authenticate. I can say, hey, you need to listen, right? Why? Because I've spent time on and off camera, on behind the scenes where you couldn't see. And I've read through and looked through and said, man, this man's got the Ruach of Yahuwah in him, teaching and putting these things out for the saints to hear. Okay? Look what's going on. Right in front of you. He is bringing wisdom in if you have the ears to hear it.
Now,
but if you want to keep on doing your own thing, well, then that's not going to work for you.
How are you going to be perfected? If you want to reach perfection, and he says, be perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect. And that's our goal. And well, it says what? The fivefold ministry is what? For the perfecting of the set apart ones, for the saints. If you're not part, and under, the structure that has been presented for us to walk, with the apostle first, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers, and this structure that's been laid out. That's the foundation. Yahusha is our cornerstone. And here we are working hard in overtime, trying to.
It's anti-Messiah. Those that oppose the fivefold oppose Messiah who sent them.
Yeah, because we're trying to bring you into a fold, of like-minded, believers that's walking in the light
to protect you.
Look after these wolves. If we see a wolf, if you get lost over the hill, we can get you recovered and get you back. You see, where it's safe, and then you'll think you'll think second, time, to wander off,
That's right. It's gonna be a little. You're gonna be a little slower to be wandering off once they've done one and got you a couple of times, right? Yeah. And you're like, man, there's predators out there, and that's if you survive it. Yes. Some people don't survive it. Okay, some people get eaten by the wolves. Some people never come back. Some of them, you're gonna find them out there, and they no longer follow Messiah anymore because they got attacked by the wolves. Now they join the wolves.
Yeah.
Okay. But you got to be like this shepherd back here, running, saying, oh, no, you're not going to get mine. We're going to take you out, you ugly wolf.
You're going to take that rod to that canine's head. You're going to crack a lack on them.
Trying to crack a lack on a wolf. I'm telling you right now, you all need to understand that, the grandpas ain't playing. The grandpa brigade is now mad. Y'all done made the grandpas mad now. Now, yeah. How many know that our sons and grandsons will come and get you now? Because no, we ain't playing, and it's time to loose all those that are wise, the humble and the wise who are serving out there. And again, we speak a word of blessing over the law enforcement and those that are coming who bear the rod for a reason. Elohim has given them the reason for them bearing that authority is so they can shut it down. And I'll tell you right now, the wolves will be like, oh no, they're persecuting me. Oh no. Yeah, while they're dragging you to jail for what you did. Okay, to that poor child who's still crying. They don't even care about the child they hurt. Then you'll never hear them on remorsing about their child that they destroyed. Okay, it'll all be about how they're being attacked, how it's all about them, and how rough their life now is because of no mention of their victims, no mention. And I never believe I couldn't believe it till I saw this with my own eyes, with my own peepers. Let me tell you, I saw this wickedness, and I saw how this spirit, and it is spirits, folks. They do not even think about their victims. Their victims are just gone. They don't exist.
That's your psychiatry, witches and wizards, messing with your mind, giving you drugs and rationalize bad behavior, and justifying it. Here, just take a pill. You'll be okay.
Till they get caught.
Yeah.
Till they get caught. And then when they get caught, now they're crying because my sheepdogs got them cornered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my sheepdog got them cornered.
Yeah, they want some kind of doctor, trying to justify it, and say it's okay and get them out of trouble.
I've been cured. That's their famous one. Yeah, that used to be mine, but not no more. Okay. No, you need to understand there's a reason why he put the stone to some people, because there's no coming back. And there comes a point at which you need to realize that there's some people that ain't worth listening to, and they're just going to keep lying to you. That's what they do. They are pathological liars. And if you cannot discern that, well, we'll help you. We'll help point them out here and there so that you can say, oh, okay, now I know what you are. But that's not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And this is what they're all trying to do. They want to come among you, pretend to be fivefold, then do this psycho stuff. Right, this craziness, this absolute suicide bomber nonsense, and that way you think, all ministers are the same way. They're all the same. That's intentional.
Yeah.
Okay, they do that intentionally. They want to ruin the work of the ministry, so they can't go in, and they're trying to ruin it for people who are entering in. This is exactly what Messiah said they would do. Not sort of. Not kind of. This is exactly fulfilling the prophecy given to you by the one you have to trust. He's not lying. Messiah is telling the truth to you. They will lie to you. They will jump over hill and dale to make you twice the servant of hell as them. All right. This is why you need to do your own fact checking. You need to read for yourself. Stop relying on Google to tell you when the high days are.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how many people that I respect. That I respect. And I was like, wow, you didn't even check? I thought you had a passion for truth. You didn't even check? I thought you understood the parable of the vineyard. You didn't even check? I thought you were searchers. You didn't even look? You just spouting the same lies as Google. Well, at least now we know.
Yeah.
At least now we know. How many know that when the 850 prophets were on the other hill and Eliyahu was all by himself on the other hill, okay? What he didn't know is he had 7,000 supporters that just were off praying for him, okay? He wasn't really by himself. He just looked like he was by himself. But how many know right then and then all of Yasharel could see every fake? And that is when Jezebel that spirit made a covenant right then that they would come for everyone in the spirit of Eliyahu, anyone who rises up like John the Baptist, anybody like the Nazarene, anybody like the apostles, anybody like the prophets of old who stood up against Jezebel would come against the same forces, who would do everything they could to destroy. But see,
Yeah.
here's the thing, saints. This is a new day. We are not going into the days of the suffering servant anymore. We're coming out of those days. We're now moving into the days of the rising Son of Righteousness with healing in his wings, who sends
Yeah.
us to trample upon the works of
Oh,
darkness, who's given
that's
us power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the wicked one, so that none of their threats hurt us. Go ahead and threaten us again. See if it don't come and land on your own head.
the great day
Somebody
of
give him some praise.
that last great day is at hand.
Come on now. And they thought they had us. They thought they had us completely deceived. They thought they had us completely asleep. They thought they had the remnant done. They thought it was a wrap. And Elohim sent the word to heal us. Come on. He sent
Yeah.
the word to heal us and deliver us from our destruction, and said,
Yeah.
wake up, my sons. Wake up, my daughters. Wake them up in the nations. Wake up, my children. Show them the truth. Reveal what they have been hiding. Reveal the liars and bust them out. The Dead Sea Scrolls come out, and oh, well, looky here. Well, y'all, a bunch of liars. All with your Masoretic lying text. Bunch of liars. And y'all got caught, and now they mad. Why are you mad? Because they caught, and their witchcraft's going to stop working on you all. It may not stop working on the nations. I understand that. But it only took 2 or 3, and we got way more than 2 or 3 on this broadcast. So it may not work for everybody, but saints, because you're awake, and you're with your brothers and your sisters now.
I
Now
think it's
on.
You know, the Dead Sea Scrolls was discovered between 1948 and 1952.
1947.
1947. You know, and up in the early 50s. And odd how I started my journey 1950.
That's right. August 7th, 1950.
Yes.
That's when that journey began. I won't ever forget that.
Yes.
I won't ever forget. It's like I was there.
I was, even as a child, I had a love for the word. I would have my little Gideon Bible, Testament they gave me, sleep under my pillow, carried it with me, to school. And when I got more understanding, I figured out, 8, the number 8, of course, it's a Gregorian calendar. I didn't know nothing about the Hebrew calendar to relate myself to. I said, 8, that's covenant, because the child is cut the covenant, when he's 8 years old, he gets circumcised.
Yeah, it's also a new beginning. That's right.
Yeah. And then I said, 7. Well, what does that equate to? Well, 7 assemblies. He created a world, 6 days, rested on the 7th. 7, candlestick menorah. And so that meant completion. I said, oh, right, completion. I like that. And then here it was the year 50. Oh, I know what that is. That was 50 days to Pentecost. And
that's Jubilee.
Yeah. And I said, oh, me, counting 50 days, from the unleavened bread, and then getting to the day of Pentecost, the Feast of Pentecost. So we counted 50 days, and I said, "Oh, I like that," because that's where the Ruach came, the fire, and
that's right, pointing your way and telling you belong to Him, that He's going to direct your steps and give you that new beginning.
Yeah, I've always wanted to connect to different ones. How do I connect and and one of my favorite was Jeremiah. What was his biggest issue was with that Queen of Heaven, the goddess worship of his day, and all of the filth that was going on, and they called him the weeping prophet because he was so broken, of the evil, and how far Israel had strayed.
The rest of the world had no light. This is the only nation with light, and they came for the nation with the only nation with light. And so this is why Mashiach says to the followers who were some of them were disciples of John who had transferred over, and he said to them, "You are the light of the world. You're it. You've got to hold what they've destroyed. Everywhere else they've gone, it's been destroyed. But my disciples, my Natsarim, my Talmidim, who say only one is their rabbi, which, by the way, is another telltale sign that they're a Pharisee. They call other people rabbi. There's only one rabbi. Anybody who refers to another person as rabbi has already shown you their colors. That's like a woman calling more than one man husband.
Yeah.
That's how egregious that is. And I don't care what anybody thinks. If they think, oh, it's no big deal, it's a big deal to Mashiach. Maybe not a big deal to anybody else. It's a big deal to Messiah. That's all he had to say to me. Yeah. Okay? We don't call anybody else rabbi. We have one rabbi, one. And he sent us not to bring peace, but a sword, because the enemies of a man will be the members of his own household. And when we tell the truth, everybody gets caught. Anybody with their hands in the cookie jar is going to get caught. Anybody that's been holding on to doctrines that are demons are going to get caught. And when you tell the truth, it lands. It doesn't care who it hits. Okay? And there's guilty people that are like,
and it's a double-edged.
We know you feel a certain kind of way. All right? Maybe you're one of those people that are like, woo, I got suckered into that. Man, I got caught up in some of this. Okay, listen, first of all, we speak forgiveness over you because you didn't know. There's a difference between the perpetrators, okay, the wolves in sheep's clothing, and the victims. Most of you who are listening to this, you are all just recovering victims.
Yes.
You are not predators. You are not perpetrators. You are not people who go out and do these things. That's why you're like, who does this stuff? They do. You can't understand Judas. You're like, why would somebody do that? And then sit there at their dinner table and then take their food and stick there, eat out of the same plate. Like, how could you do this? They have no soul. There's something so wicked in some people that they can do things like that.
The conscience is seared. They have
with
no
a hot iron. They don't even feel bad. They'll justify it if you sit there and listen long enough, and they sound convincing, and they'll have you where you'll be like, well, gosh, if you listen, they put you under a spell. And if you don't think it's true, I'm telling you right now, anybody that's ever broken free from abuse, what do they need? They need recovery, trauma, ministry, and psychological help. Why? Because that person was playing mind games on you. That's why.
Yes.
That person was using mind control and manipulation. They knew exactly what they were doing to you. This is why, saints, we need to not only recover onto the truth, but we need places of recovery, or otherwise known as a sanctuary. Okay? You need sanctuary where you can get your mind clear and you can see the lies for what they are. That's why the woman that's got to get away from the abuser, she's got to go find some safe place, a brother or a sister who could protect her so she could get her thoughts straight, because she doesn't even know what's real and what's not real. She's dealing with reality. All of her reality got gaslighted to the point where they're like, I'm not even sure what the truth is anymore. Like, how many of you have felt gaslighted to the point where you're like, I don't know who to believe. I don't know what's true. Wow. Why? Because witchcraft. That's the fruit of witchcraft. That tells you were under witchcraft right there. Okay. And so understand that this is on a wholesale level. If you go over to the Truther's Journal, you'll be reading stories and articles about how they put this witchcraft over generations, how they use Babylonian money magic with this witchcraft, how they use the media, which is actually a foreign goddess, okay? How they use these things to control. Why is my brother spending all this time? Why is Elohim by the Ruach having him write all these things out?
Because he told me to.
Because he told him to.
Yeah.
Because you children need help to see the plots, and it's not easy. It takes time. You got to go, oh my goodness. You get one thing, and how many of you just heard about just the pagan holidays and were just like, whoa, I need a break. I can't even begin to take any more of this. Yeah. There's volumes of lies that they've told.
Yeah. And Christmas is a hard one. Birthdays is another hard one, to give up,
All of this stuff.
Thanksgiving. Oh, this is when the family gets together, And
they done forgot about Sukkot. They done forgot about Yom Kippur. They done forgot about Yom Teruah. They don't even think about Shavuot. They forgot. They might remember Passover only because they got some bunny thing they want to do that time period around sort of the same time, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how reprehensible it has become.
And
because we got gaslighted by wicked spirits who wanted you all enslaved. Welcome to their matrix.
Yeah.
And you all are cutting people free, red pilling them one time at just telling them the name, red pills them. Go ahead, brother.
And then you have, self-proclaimed rabbis like Jonathan Cahn, that can do both. And then everybody else think, well, you can do both of them. You can do Jewish festivals. It's not Yahuwah's feast, but you can do Jewish festivals and you Christian, holidays. And that's the two houses, becoming one. That's not the two house that the
Oh my
scripture
goodness. Did he say that?
That is not the two house. See, they're trying to sell you on the idea Christianity and
Well,
Judaism.
sell you is a big word. If you go to somebody's meeting and they got a store open on Shabbat selling you, I don't care what, they just told you who they are. Okay, they just told you who they are. That was all I needed to see.
Yeah,
is you got a store open on Shabbat selling a bunch of stuff. That's interesting.
Turn their tables over, and it wouldn't be beyond.
You wouldn't want me in any of them places. It's a good thing he got me out here in the wilderness because I would surely turn some tables over.
Well, I think that's why he put me out here too, way out in the sticks to keep me from having bail money.
Yep.
He said, "I know you, Daryl. Let me."
Oh man.
Well, you won't, now it's one thing going to, jail, over the name of Yahusha, and they were boys, put in jail because of the name. Hello. But, but doing meanness is a different thing,
Listen. There's a reason why some people take off and they go run. And these same guys, by the way, have been doing the same tactic. They blow somewhere up, they get in trouble, they get caught, and then they get out of there and they go somewhere else. And it's getting to where, thankfully, the light is coming on so bright all over the earth that they're running out of places to hide. But how many know that, saints, we cannot stop? We got to stop allowing these wicked spirits that are moving through people. And I do feel sorry for the victims, but nevertheless, if they're letting that spirit move through them and they become now a witch channeler, they're now a spirit that is, or a vessel where these spirits are moving through, honey, that person needs to be taken down. That needs to stop. They have become a high place, no different than an idol, no different than a place of worship. And they need to come down. And so here it comes. And here comes the judgment of Yahuwah Sevaot.
Yeah.
And you'll see it for yourselves. And you now heard us say we out here in the middle of nowhere. So we didn't do a thing. But you will watch Yahuwah confirm his own word with signs and wonders following, so that you will know you heard the word of Yahuwah Sevaot today.
Yes. It says, have no fellowship with the works of darkness, but expose them. Expose them.
That's right. And this so that others would fear. So that others will fear, because you got to realize that there's people that are taking it real lightly and taking this thing about ministry like it's no big deal. Okay, but it is not a light matter. It is a serious matter. And we need to be very, very humble and meek and assuming about anything that Elohim says. If he tells us, no, this is evil, we stop right there. We don't look for justifications. Yeah. We don't look for rationalizing pedophilia. If somebody's a pedophile, they need help. They don't need excuses. They're going to get help because people stop making excuses, stop supporting. Don't send them any money. Don't send them anything. Let them crash so that they can go and get the help that they need. As long as people keep financing the Catholics and all the rest of them, what's going to keep happening? Going to keep having this abuse. Yeah. But how many know that when they everybody's waking up and nobody wants anything to do with them, then they're going to want to repent. Then they're going to want to fix their image. That's when they're going to realize, oh, maybe we've gone too far.
Or didn't Benny Hinn do a little a slick thing, after he made his millions and millions, and mansions and and what all he
I
got?
might have been wrong about that. I might have been wrong.
Yeah, but did he give his money back?
Nope.
Did he refund every? No, he didn't go that
Nope.
far. He didn't make no
And
restitution.
I listen. It's not a joke. And one of the things that we talk about this stuff in our discussion board, in our fellowship. I don't know about the rest of you and where you fellowship. Not everybody is with us. We understand that. But this is not a joke. And many will say to him in that day, I'm going to show you this graphic. This is something you would have seen in our discussion board. Okay. Many will say to him in that day, Lord, Lord, Baal, Baal, did we not prophesy in thy name and done many mighty works, right? Have cast out devils, done many wonderful works. That word is actually demons, by the way. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Did you catch it? Most people wouldn't. There's no mention anywhere in their declaration of where they found faithful to honor his name. Did you catch the sin of Cain? Did you catch it? Okay. No mention of where they were found faithful to honor his name. Thou oughtest. Look what he says when he arrives to the slothful. He says, thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, that at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. What money does he consider to be his? He said, my money. Y'all can think about that. He is the high priest. Didn't they think he would notice who they truly were honoring? Okay. We're going to go ahead and say the hard parts out loud. All right. Because it's not so easy to fool the high priest who's standing there, as he said, over the treasury. And he commended the woman who brought 2 mites. It ain't about the amount. It's about your heart. It's about honoring Yahuwah Elohim. It's about honoring his kingdom. It's about showing respect. That's a big deal, saints. It got Cain marked. It's a big deal. Okay. And so not doing these things correctly, not being respectful, they're doing all these other works in the name of the king, but they never found out. They couldn't find a house. They couldn't find a fold. They couldn't find a place to be found faithful. They just float everywhere. Mm-hmm. Well. Does the king fall for it? No, he doesn't. He writes 7 letters to 7 assemblies. He don't write no letters to 7 individuals. We need to lose that individualism, and we need to get it together.
And that wasn't to the sinners and and ungodly, the heathens. That was to his own folks, his people.
That's right. All assemblies, all of them assemblies.
Six of the assemblies had something good to say, and they all had a rebuke. There's some improvement that you could do, but hold fast, to what you got. But that 7th assembly, just like Isaiah chapter 4:1, I quoted week before last. Well, in Revelation it says, you say you're rich and in increasing goods and have need of nothing, but I counsel thee, buy of me gold tried in the fire, tried. Well, and we can find that in the refiner's fire. You see, and they was wanting to wear their own stuff and do their own thing, and he had nothing good to say about that
Nope.
assembly of Laodicea. Now we can find ourselves in any one of those.
Yes, we can.
We can.
And that's why repentance, teshuvah, is needed in this hour.
Now, are you going to be found in that Laodicea, in that where it's going to, honey? It ain't going to go good for you. That's the house built on the sand. You see, that's the house that's built on every ism and schism and shifting sand, everything. And when the storm comes and beats on vehemently, only the ruin of it is going to be great. It's coming down. All of this Babylonian stuff that we've been built on is shifting sand. Only thing that's going to stand, honey, are you built on the rock? Who is that rock? Who is our chief cornerstone? That's Yahushua. And
that's the reality. We have to remember who is in fact our cornerstone. We have to stay focused. and the distractions are plentiful. The enemy wants you distracted. He doesn't want you focused on the king or the kingdom. He doesn't want you to understand the severity of the war that you're in. He wants you to think everybody's okay. It's not a big deal. And they don't understand that there is a huge difference. There's a chasm between the righteous, who he considers righteous, those who have truly repented, those who truly have come in his name, those who have truly come with humble heart, and those that are imposters. And so the imposters draw away imposters. That's their job. They're a dross remover. That's what they're supposed to do. All right. And so if that's what the result is, then let that one go. But those that have been drawn by the Ruach of Emet, the spirit of truth, they will band together and they
Yes.
will coalesce into a family.
And
Okay.
that's
And so this is what the chasm is about. You can't mix these two groups any more than you can mix oil and water. It just don't mix.
yeah. So
You can't do it. And now people have tried, and they're trying to make, oh, let's make nice so we can make more people, get
well,
more people saved, or some
well, what
crazy
you
notion.
do,
Go ahead,
you
brother.
you just make hybrids is what you're trying to do. When you
That's
mix
right.
it all up. You see, he said, if you have a faith as a grain of mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be ye removed, and it'll have to be moved. Now, people wants to bring that out as just a little. All you had is a little teeny weeny bitty faith. That's not what he said. As is what? As its character, as its, and so what we have found of all the seeds that Yahuwah has created, all of them can be hybrid. In other words, you can take a peach seed and a plum seed, and you can mix the two seeds, and you come up with a nectarine. Well, you can eat a nectarine. You probably make nectarine jelly, and preserve, and probably can it. But now you take that nectarine seed that you created and you plant it in the dirt, the ground, and see if you'll get a nectarine tree. You won't. There's
So the
no life.
mustard seed cannot be hybrided.
It cannot be
And that's
mixed.
exactly what the Pharisees are all about. The Pharisees are about hybridization. They take some of the truth so that you will eat it, and then they taint it. And this
Well,
is how wickedness works. So that the
yeah,
witchcraft is not the complete opposite, where it's all the way over here and they got you thinking it's some woman on a broomstick. No, witchcraft is when they manipulate the scripture, tell you that Hodesh means moon, things like that.
very yak.
Okay. Instead of Yadiak, which is the word for moon, no, they just change the meaning
Yeah.
and gaslight you and then beat you up if you bring it up.
And Google will go along with it. So
and go right with them
Yeah.
right with them because they're in on it together.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with these highfalutins, right? Those that they're oh well, I know better. You're nothing. You don't know anything. We know. Okay,
PhD.
well,
So
and then you go and fact check them. You little person, right? You're just one little person, and you went and you fact checked, and you're like, actually, I'm looking here, and Houston, we've got a problem, right? And they're like, oh no, you don't understand. You're just a little nobody. You don't know anything. We are the teachers here. Don't you know that? And then they ridicule you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Condescending, arrogant lecture.
Instead of saying, go search for yourself, enjoy your adventure in scripture. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Right? And let them go figure it out for themselves.
I had a brother, and I was pretty busy. I'm getting ready to be with my apostle, my friend. And so I'm getting my thoughts together, and this brother, and he's real eager. And then he's just new to class, he's just one of our new subscribers to class, and so, and he was wanting to know more questions. Well, he was wanting to know about the calendar. Can you zip me over information? I said, well, I tell you what you do. I said, you just go over there to Truther Journal, gave him the address, it popped up. I said, and up the top is a search pane, and you just write calendar in there, and it'll pop up everything that I've
Have fun with
collected.
that.
And I tell you, enjoy your adventure in scripture. Start your research, start your adventure, and I'll get you started.
That's
You
right.
know,
And folks,
that's
that's our role here, is to encourage you. Um, we know that the real teacher is the Ruach Hakodesh. We know that the Ruach has got to lead you into Emet, into the truth. We can't really do that for you, okay? Because there's a revelation that you need to own, okay?
yeah,
And another man's revelation will only become your regulation.
right.
So
That happened.
instead, you need to go through the same process. You cannot shortcut it. You got to make your own oil, honey.
Yeah,
Okay. And you got to get that oil from hard time studying and looking for yourself. Because when you come out of there, whatever you found, you're going to own it.
you're gonna own it.
You're going to own it. And
And
on
then
that note, go ahead, brother. Final thoughts.
oh no, no, no! I could go on another hour, brother. but we're wearing folks out, and I know we have to let them go. And I'm off the clock, so I can sleep as long as I want, get up when I want, and so, anyways, but appreciate you all, children, joining us and being with brother Peter and I, having our talks and conversations, and I hope it's been a blessing to you as it has been for
Amen.
me. And Yahuwah bless you all, and keep looking up, children. Don't get down. Our redemption is coming now. Oh,
Mm,
it's coming. It's coming.
that's
So
right.
yeah, he's
That's
coming to
right.
save us. He's going to come. He's our redeemer.
On behalf of all of Remnant House, we thank you, my brother, for always taking the time to share not only your wisdom, but your heart. And we are truly blessed to have you as part of our house. And we look forward to Sukkot. You're going to do some extra teaching on there. So if you're tuning in for our Sukkot broadcast, you are going to be blessed as we share a lot of different things during that time. And he's going to continue to pour forth more and more revelation. So again, thank you for joining us, my brother. And saints, I want to encourage you to join us tomorrow night. Right here on this channel, we'll be dealing with, our weekly news update. And you can already tell some of the stories I'm going to be hitting on and where we're going a little bit. But there's a lot to cover, a lot going on in the world. And the good news is the light is winning over the darkness. So don't lose hope because of the voices of wicked people, slanderers, liars, defamers. Don't lose hope over that. Don't be discouraged. Don't worry. Don't you remember? Your enemy shall rise up against you one way, and he will be scattered before your face 7 different ways. No weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue raised against you, you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the saints of Elohim, and their righteousness is of him. Don't you ever forget that. And so they thought that our meekness was weakness. They're about to find out. Amen and amen. And each one of you who are awake, each one of you who shine your light before men, let them see your good works, that they may glorify your Abba, which is in heaven. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you again next Yom Rishon. We will be here for yet another amazing discussion. I'm sure it will be a blessing. Thank you, each and every one of you. And remember, Yahusha HaMashiach, he alone is King of Kings. Amen.